future is already here. We are creating it every day. What once was only a vision, today is reality. Let's live the future. Think digital, act digital, feel digital. Welcome to the Western Balkans Digital Summit, Podgorica 2021.
I'm pleased to welcome you to this fourth Western Balkans Digital Summit, which is taking place...
Wait a minute, Digi, wait a minute. I'm supposed to be the host of this event, not you. You're an artificial intelligence. You can't be the host. At best, you're an assistant.
Huh. Assistant?
Yeah?
Co-host sounds better to me. Well, okay. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm pleased to present to you the host of this fourth Western Balkans Digital Summit, Radoje Cerovic.
Thank you very much, Digi, and we'll talk later. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, as your host, I'm glad to guide you through this amazing event, which is the fourth Western Balkans Digital Summit, which is taking place here in this wonderful venue, the Musical Center of Montenegro here in Podgorica, but also in this magical place that we all got used to, which is the virtual environment. So as you can understand, this will be a hybrid type of event where you, the audience, the panelists, and our amazing speakers will be able to interact seamlessly throughout the 3 days of summit. At the very beginning, I'm going to tell you that our journey is going to be articulated around 4 important pillars, 4 topics, central topics. Digital skills and competence, including all elements regarding human resources and the issues related to required radical transformation in the structure of knowledge and skills required if we want to accomplish the digital transformation of public administrations. In the afternoon, we will focus our attention on digital economy, the second topic. It will be an encounter between policymakers and private business managers to explore this crucial relationship, crucial for each step in the digital transformation journey. We will open our second day with a rather fundamental set of topics. We will discuss digital infrastructure and connectivity, where we will also introduce telecommunication operators and strategists to understand the balance between the structural aspects of hardware and software. Last but absolutely not least is the topic of trust and security. In addition to cybersecurity experts, this topic will also involve prestigious guests coming from the finance sector, both public and private. Okay, and now it's time to meet those who will help us draft the initial lines of this summit. So, at the beginning, we will meet the hosts and the organizers of this summit. She has more than 15 years of experience in ICT and public administration. Her transformation and change leadership has been recognized by the government of California, so she was appointed the head of California Office for Digital Innovation. Over the past 2 California administrations, she championed the course for the priority policy initiatives and digital service and public transformation strategies for the world's 5th largest economy. Visiting lecturer at Harvard University, and now she is the Montenegrin Minister for Public Administration, Digital Society and Media. Ladies and gentlemen, Ms. Tamara Serzentic. The Regional Cooperation Council is the organizer and the spiritus movens of the Western Balkans Digital Summits. And she is the visionary leader inside the RCC. She started as an academic lecturer and a TV anchor, but for many years she was a member of the Albanian Parliament, government spokesperson, and the longest-serving Minister of European Integration of Albania. ladies and gentlemen, the Secretary General of the RCC, Ms. Mailinda Bregu. This gentleman served as the European Space Agency, chairman of the European Radio Spectrum Policy Group, a board member at the body of European telecom regulators, chairman of the head of the Directorate General of Communication, Networks, Content and Technology. We call it DG Connect at the European Commission. Signore e signori, l'ingegner Roberto Viola. She has a long experience of representing Germany in collaboration with multilateral entities such as EU, OECD, and WTO. An expert in trade policy, transatlantic relations, relations with Latin America, Asia, and Central and Eastern Europe in the Federal Ministry of Economics and Technology. Between 2006 and 2018, she served as the Director General for European Policy in the Ministry. I present to you Ms. Claudia Der Voss, State Secretary at the Federal Ministry for Economic Affairs and Energy, Federal Republic of Germany. "25 years of experience in medical practice and public health all around the world. He started as a simple family doctor in Belgium. With Médecins Sans Frontières and later with WHO, he became an expert in emergencies, Liberia, Somalia, Russia, and the prisons of Siberia, then Myanmar, even the Democratic People's Republic of Korea. He speaks fluently 5 languages, and since 2009, he has been with the WHO Europe. Today, he is with us here at the summit, the WHO Regional Director for Europe. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Hans-Henry Kluge. Okay. And now, I'll present you our 2 keynote speakers for this virtual opening. She is the director of the Telecommunication Development Bureau of the International Telecommunication Union. In 2018, she became the first woman in the 153-year history of the ITU to hold an elected senior position. Previously, the Chief of Strategic Planning and Membership and Executive Director of the Broadband Commission for Sustainable Development. Ladies and gentlemen, our first keynote speaker will be Ms. Doreen Bogdan Martin. Excellent. His country, Estonia, is the world's champion in digital transformation of the public sector. And he is the CIO of the Estonian government, or in more bureaucratic terms, the Deputy Secretary General for IT and Telecom in the Ministry of Economic Affairs and Communications. He is one of the founders of Estonia's renowned groundbreaking e-residency program, nominated as one of world's top 20 most influential people in digital government by Apolitical. And he is here with us on this stage, our second keynote speaker, Mr. Siim Sikkut. Okay, thank you very much for being here, and thanks to our guests that will join online, our panelists. So, as a representative of the organizer of the Montenegrin government, it's up to you to set the stage here.
Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, our community. It is a tremendous honor to reach you on behalf of Government of Montenegro, Prime Minister Zdravko Krkopic, and my team. We are immensely proud to be the hosts of the 4th Western Balkan Digital Summit, the biggest digital conference in the region, this year organized by the Government of Montenegro, Ministry of Public Administration, Digital Society and Media, RCC, with help of our sponsors. Following the activities of the goals of the Common Regional Market, which Western Balkan leaders endorsed in 2020 after Skopje, Belgrade, and Tirana. I'm so grateful to have the opportunity to talk with you here now in Podgorica at the 4th Western Balkan Digital Summit. I want to thank Prime Minister Krivokapic for his leadership and for setting digital transformation as one of the top priorities on our agenda, which will accelerate the path to digital change in Montenegro. We've charted an ambitious roadmap aiming to improve ways people interact with the government and ensure better access to services, all while building a digitally empowered talent and workforce and fostering digital economy. Our team strongly believes in unlocking the power of government data and technology to spur innovation across our country and the region and enhance the quality of services of the people we serve. Today, from Podgorica, Montenegro, we share a common vision of the future in the European Union with the EU Digital Compass 2030 in mind, and we want to send a strong message and show our commitment to achieving an even more actionable regional collaboration and driving meaningful collective impact. Digital Summit is taking place in a time of a globally challenging situation, and it is especially important that in the Western Balkans, we join forces, connect the dots, exchange experiences and lessons learned around implementation of previously endorsed agreements and commitments, as well as open new perspectives and areas for collaboration, all for the benefit and quality of lives of our citizens. With over 90 speakers, dozens of keynotes and breakout sessions, we hope the summit will provide a strong foundation for governments, private, civil sector, and academia to become more efficient and innovative, to collaborate more in most important digital areas, and to empower leaders through the development of digital skills. What I'm most excited about is that you'll get to hear from some of the most amazing leaders from across the globe: Europe, North and South America, and Asia. From neighborhoods to countries, the two biggest levers for improving people's lives at scale are technology and government. These folks are raising the bar and pushing boundaries on modern, human-centered services and experiences while building diverse, empowering, and equitable organizations, communities, and movements. We like to say that it takes a village, and I'm so proud of the efforts our team and communities put forth in these unprecedented times. As we look to our long-term economic recovery, the people of Montenegro aspire to be supported and connected, all while maintaining their data safe, secure, and accessible. Montenegro's first digital transformation strategy and strategy of cybersecurity, which is fully aligned with the goals of the Europe's digital decade, is one of the major milestones how we will make that happen. COVID pandemic has demonstrated that we simply cannot be an offline government in an online world. Over time, people have come to expect services delivered at the unprecedented speed and convenience, and to have those same services available at their fingerprints. So to accelerate our progress towards this goal, and following in the footsteps of global leaders like in UK and US digital services, we are launching Montenegro Digital, a small startup inside of the government, which will bring together some of the brightest talent with top civil servants in an effort to build more convenient, reliable, and accessible government services, saving the people of Montenegro both time and money. A critical element of Montenegro Digital is to establish innovation fellows and entrepreneurs in residence, a pipeline of innovators and volunteers whose technical expertise will help us inject the principles and values and practices of the innovation economy into government in support of our most critical change agents, the people. We plan to pair a diverse pool of technologists and innovators with the top civil servants across our government in an effort to resolve some of our most stickiest challenges. Another top priority for Montenegro Digital is to grow and empower our digital talent. This fall, we are launching a digital academy and establishing a standard and open-sourced curriculum that reflects the core skills, competencies, and capabilities needed to enable a truly 21st century digital public service, academia, and civil sector equipped to confront new cross-cutting challenges. Through these efforts and others, we are investing in strengthening our internal capacity to build policies, products, and programs with measurable results that improve the way that people and businesses interact with our government. We are committed to furthering the digital transformation agenda more effectively and efficiently, as well as to providing better communication, cross-border collaboration, and data exchange with the region and the EU businesses, civil sector, with the goal of addressing the needs of the people we serve. That being said, we must remember that accelerating change takes all of us. It takes a village. Let's use this event as a springboard and push the boundaries of collaboration, communication, and coordination to a brand new level. Let us join and contribute to deepening regional economic integration in the most intentional and transformative manner. Let's continue to build bridges for a stable and integrated region and drive meaningful impact together. Thank you to the leaders representing European Commission, Western Balkans 6 economies, RCC team, and the entire community of public servants, technologists, industry representatives, civil sector and academia, and all of you who have joined us for this 3-day event. The government of Montenegro wishes you a warm welcome and fruitful experience at the summit. May the force be with us. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Minister Srđančić. Okay, I've defined you a visionary leader inside the Regional Cooperation Council. Ms. Melinda Bregu, the virtual stage is all yours.
Thank you very much, and thank you as well for commending our work at the RCC. So, dear host, dear Tamara, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure to participate at this virtual opening of the 4th Western Balkans Digital Summit. It does not mean that I'll remain virtual, so I will be joining you tomorrow, so I'll be there for the event on the 30th. We have already entered into a mature phase of a joint Western Balkans 6 digital journey that started 2018 in Skopje. RCC is proud to support these endeavors since then, and we do see the merits of such a flagship event in the digital transformation of the Western Balkans. The current year, the one that we are still living in, will be remembered as the year of transformation of connectivity in the Western Balkans. We all managed successfully to establish a Roam-free Western Balkans regime as 1st of July this year. So the Western Balkans is one grid today. The process of reduction of EU Western Balkan roaming charges will follow, and gears are in full speed, and we started the preparations on that. Only last week, the roadmap that RCC prepared, a consolidated version, I have to say, that foresees the lowering of the roaming costs between EU and Western Balkans, will be carried out together with Western Balkan economies and supported by EC. We cannot do it in a day. The process, it will take time, but we have already set the political ground for successful completion of reduction of the prices between Western Balkans and the EU in a process that will take at least the 5 years up to the moment that we'll see the first results. So by 2027, the roaming charges to the EU will be closer to the home network domestic prices. This is a process based on openness, inclusiveness, transparency that produced clear targets for lowering the roaming charges. And it is as well a shared responsibility among governments of this region, regulators and telecom operators from the Western Balkans and the EU. So if we would like to be successful on that, let's say that the good organization and the shared responsibility of all the actors mentioned is a must approach. I started with the roaming as it is one of the concrete deliverables out of the digital summit with a wide outreach among citizens. But Western Balkans digital agenda is very ambitious and we are making steady steps towards that. It's an integral part of establishing a common regional market for Western Balkans. So let me just briefly mention a few of them that will be discussed later during the summit. The 5G. Last year, the Western Balkan economies kickstart the discussions on the implementation of the Memorandum of Understanding on 5G roadmap for the digital transformation in Western Balkans region. This was signed last year during the Digital Summit in Tirana as a direct response to the common regional market measures on the 5G. Western Balkans is at different levels of development compared to the EU in several areas. And its readiness varies from 28% to 42%, while the average in EU is 55%. Efforts in further development of broadband infrastructure are crucial, and this is not just Western Balkans. Worldwide, high-speed network infrastructure is core for all these services. Paperless, digital, borderless. That's what can work for faster, and these are synonyms for faster, easier, and cheaper services for all citizens. An interoperable Western Balkans, the first interoperable region. Free movement of services and facilitation of e-commerce will bring direct benefits to the citizens and requires additional efforts as well. Western Balkans range from 1% to 45 and 47% somehow of citizens using the e-shopping, while in the EU stands at 69%. Free flow of data. A new regional initiative of the free flow of data also considered the fifth freedom of a common market, in addition to the traditional freedoms like the free movement of goods, services, people, and capital, will be launched. Digitally educated Western Balkans. All countries in the world, so globally, but all the economies of the region as well, are progressing, but yet we are behind to what our friends, colleagues, peers in European Union have achieved. Western Balkans 6 ranks very badly when it comes to the digital skills based on the Global Competitive Report. 2/3 of individuals lack skills required to navigate digital spaces, and only about 1/5 of them use the internet to connect with public authorities in 2019. These numbers have been increased a bit more during the pandemic because of the lockdown. People were like forced to go and check and as well require for some documents on the e-services and e-government portals. We are working on a fully fledged assessment of digital skills, and we need the public administration as well to be both at central and local levels to contribute to equip public administration with the skills required to cope with citizens' needs for better services. Some additional RCC agenda. We are committed, and we have proven that we are ready to work jointly with Western Balkan 6 and establish Western Balkan Digital Skills, Jobs and Coalition. This is one of our freshest ideas. It was like a decision from ourselves and within after discussion and brainstorming among ourselves. Because we keep hearing each day on the chances and possibilities that young people from the region need to have in order to find a job. And that's the most important part or that's the most important thing for their life now. So unemployment is one of the biggest problems and major concerns in the Western Balkans. So upskilling, digital upskilling, reskilling, it will be like a great opportunity for them. And I think that the Digital Summit can be a unique opportunity to showcase digital developments and to support challenges like that in the Western Balkans. We are happy to have supported youngster and bright minds from the region in developing digital innovative solutions like the Balkathon competitions that we organized for 2 years in a row. Balkathon is a newly RCC branded regional competition, a very good example of how digitalization is bringing young people together in creating the new digital and innovative solutions. Last time we organized it during May this year. 6 winners again, 1 for each economy of the Western Balkans, and in recent months they have been working on developing their solutions and making those solutions just putting aside those on market value. So they and those, let's say, winners will have the chance to present tomorrow their innovative solutions for the first time. Dear guests, the digital transformation is a process that requires investing in people, in technology, in systems, and processes to upgrade how business and citizens interact with the digital economy. It requires thinking out of the box and innovating to recap the benefits of the technological change. I do remain positive and optimistic that this year's Digital Summit will be the fora for the fruitful discussions and reaching important agreement. So I wish to all of you a fruitful summit and looking forward to see you in person Wednesday.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Ms. Bregu. Now, we are looking forward to see and to hear the perspective on the development and digital transformation of Western Balkans from the European Commission, from DG Connect. So, Ingegner Roberto Viola, il palco virtuale è tutto suo. Prego.
Grazie. I hope you can see me and hear me.
Yes, we can.
That's the first thing you always say in pandemic. I'm so happy and honored to be part of the opening ceremony of this Western Balkan Digital Summit. And I must say, for the European Commission, for my team, growing the Western Balkan communities into digitally connected communities, greener communities, it's really not only something that we do with passion and joining forces with impressive work that it's going on, but also we feel it as a duty, like it's a duty to transform the European society in a greener and more digital one. This is the objective for our future generations that we have set, and we are so honored to join this and have this also shared with our Western Balkan friends, colleagues, and citizens. And that's why I'm very grateful for this invitation. I'm really grateful that the government of Montenegro organized this meeting. I'm impressed by the Regional Cooperation Council and the progress that has been achieved. I think the most significant proof of this progress for the citizens is indeed the roaming agreement among the Western Balkan countries that we from the European Commission have supported from the very beginning, tried to help by injecting our experience in having done a similar journey in the Union. And we are so happy to see that this has delivered for the citizens. Also, we are happy to see that there's a clear, concrete path for reduction of roaming rates between the Western Balkans and the EU, and also rest reassured that we will support this journey. We are still in the pandemic, which is a collective tragedy, and we are trying to deploy as many efforts as possible to keep our society and our economy going. And indeed, digital is a great part of this effort. We have been working day and night to have an effective vaccination campaign in Europe, and the results now are really impressive. We also thought that an essential part of exiting the pandemic was also to have a digital proof of being immune for COVID, to reopen our borders, to reopen our restaurants, to reopen our schools, to make sure that the people can safely interact together. That's why we are so proud of having realized the digital COVID certificate, which by now is used in all European countries, and there are more than 60 countries around the world for more than 2 billion citizens that are applying or are already achieved equivalence with the EU digital COVID certificates. We have issued so far 500 million COVID certificates, and we are so happy to see that North Macedonia and Albania are already granted equivalence, and that happened in August and September. And we welcome the application from Serbia and Kosovo, which we are progressing very quickly. And we look forward to receive the application from Montenegro and Bosnia-Herzegovina. By completing the equivalence of the digital COVID certificate, we can be sure that we re-establish a lively and interactive area between Europe and the Western Balkans, re-allowing travel in a safe way and allowing, our respective citizens again to meet physically each other. The digital COVID certificate is probably the most telling example for citizens what it means a digital solution, a digital power solution to prove something, to interact, to travel. It's, of course, it would not be possible efforts from everyone in improving in digital signatures, in improving in identity, in improving interoperability of public services. And the work done in the last 20 years has paid off in 2 months. That was the time to set it up. And so in this respect, this shows once again how it's important that in the next decade we engage in this, what we call the compass, the 4 northwest, east and south, the compass of a digital, profound digital transformation of our society and economy. For us, the 4 quadrants of this compass are clearly skills, and I start from the people. I mean, without a skilled workforce, without basic skills, which are the skills to use a digital COVID certificate or be able to print it, to much more elaborated and structured skills to be the doctor in 10 years from now, the architect. So I'm not talking even to the IT engineer. Every specialist must have in the future digital literacy as one of the most important elements of the curricula to make sure that can deal with the challenges of the future. That's very important, and I'm so happy that also this is central to the digital agenda of the Western Balkans, and we should continue working together on digital skills. The same applies, working together, on the other element which we have seen during the pandemic is so important, which are, of course, infrastructure. Without connections, without, broadband infrastructure, there's no digital society. There's no society, let me say. We have seen it. So that's why we will relentlessly work in Europe towards the 2030 objective, which is to have every citizen connected at home with the fiber, or making sure that even small businesses can be connected with the highest possible rate to the internet, and having for every citizen a 5G connection everywhere. And I think this objective we want to share and make sure also that the advancement in the digital sphere when it comes to connectivity are the same in the Western Balkans. And it's not just connectivity infrastructure, it's also data. Being sure that you can safely store data, use data, process data, what we call the data factories of the future, which means having very advanced cloud infrastructure, supercomputing, the new form of computing, which is moving to the edge of the network. That's why it's called edge computing. And all of this should be part of the modern infrastructure for the region. And that's why it's so important for our digital decade. Another element is the digital transformation of the businesses. That's, where we have to work hard at not only the most advanced business, but every business, even the smaller one, embraces fully digital transformation. Of course, everyone has to do a bit during the pandemic. We don't want that this momentum is lost, and we want that also this is the case for the Western Balkans. And then but last but not least, because I started with this, is the digitalization of public services. So again, the COVID certificate shows to citizens what it means. When administration can deliver efficient solutions. And in Europe, we are moving on to the next generation of this kind of interaction with the public, which we call the European digital identity or the European digital wallet, which is basically, making sure that from your smartphone, you can have all sorts of interactions, show your identity proof, your driving license, open a bank account, sign a contract, and do whatever you want to do in a very simple way when it comes to proving something, identity, attribute, whatever you need to prove. And from very simple application like, renting a car and receiving the digital keys on the smartphone, we go to much more elaborated applications. And we, together with the member states, we just started the work by selecting, first of all, how to work together, the type of application we want to develop very quickly, and also, of course, the standards. So we are very happy to share this work with the Western Balkans and make sure that also this concept of distributed identity, it's, say, the norm in developing next generation e-government services. All of this, of course, needs support, and that's why we are wholeheartedly supporting the economic and investment plans in the Western Balkans. We want to line up an important effort, join, this effort with the EU funding, and make sure that this objective of the digital decades can be also delivered for the Western Balkan citizens. That's why I also would like that we open up a dialogue, a regulatory dialogue, and a dialogue on the digital decades for the Western Balkans, to make sure that our two agendas can be aligned and make sure that, what is the promise or more than the promise, the goal that we want to reach in 10 years from now can be shared with our friends, colleagues, and citizens in the Western Balkans. So I hope that this suggestion can be discussed today and in the future, and the European Commission, my team, as always, stands ready to support you. Many thanks for your attention.
Thank you very much. Grazie mille, signor Viola. And now, as I already announced, we have guests from Germany, State Secretary at the Federal Ministry for Economic Affairs and Energy, Claudia Dorfos. The stage is yours.
Minister Serentic, Mrs. Bregu, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the federal government, I'm delighted to once again have the opportunity to welcome you to this digital summit for the Western Balkans. It's been 7 years since Federal Chancellor Angela Merkel initiated the series of Western Balkan conferences. This summer, the Berlin process came home again. At the 2017 Western Balkans Conference under the Italian presidency, Germany proposed a new series of digital summits. There were good reasons to do so, as digitization is one of the most important challenges of our time, and not just since the outbreak of the pandemic. I would like to highlight 3 points in particular. Firstly, the Digital Summit is a major success story. This was also made clear at our last Western Balkans conference, which took place as part of the Berlin process this summer. The Digital Summit has given rise to a stakeholder dialogue and put an end to roaming charges in the region this July, which has clearly improved quality of life within the region. Congratulations. In the EU, where roaming charges for final customers were abolished in mid-2017, this has also given roaming traffic a fresh boost. It means that consumers no longer need to worry about high phone bills when they travel. And there will be more projects in the future. Secondly, an important topic that will stay with us is data sovereignty. Under Germany's Council presidency, we promoted Gaia X, a significant initiative for the establishment of a secure and trustworthy European data infrastructure for the entire EU. Small and medium-sized enterprises in particular have so far often been reluctant to use cloud solutions, not only because of the costs, but also because they were lacking trust in the data security offered by large digital companies and platforms. Gaia X seeks to close this gap and will deliver on this. We want to work together to further develop this project and invite the countries of the Western Balkans to play a part in the design of this digital ecosystem. The next Gaia X Summit, which will take place on 18th and 19th November this year, will offer a good opportunity for this. And finally, I would like to stress the responsibility of government. It is our job to create a favorable framework for digitization. For the governments of the Western Balkan countries, it will also be important to channel pre-accession aid into sustainable projects and investments. As these digitization processes take place, we must ensure that all groups in society have the opportunity to be part of this process. This also requires change in the public administration. We would like to provide very practical support here, for example, through our public administration partnership, digitization of continuing education for public officials in the region. This project will also be presented during the lightning talks still to come. Beyond this, we will continue to support the Digital Summit. What we are seeing throughout these 3 days is true platform communication between policymakers, business, and the non-governmental sector, which are joining forces and pooling efforts to find good solutions. On this note, I wish this year's Western Balkans Digital Summit in Podgorica every success. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you very much, thank you very much. Now, his job became even more demanding in the last 2 years. Mr. Kluge, Dr. Kluge, please proceed.
Honorable Minister, delegates, friends and colleagues. It is a great pleasure to address the opening of this, the 4th Digital Summit of the Western Balkans. Let me begin by offering my thanks to the Montenegrin Minister of Health, Dr. Jelena Bojovic, and Ms. Tamara Srentic, Minister of Public Administration, Digital Society and Media, for the opportunity to be part of this, and I send my most sincere apologies for not being able to be with you in person. From the very outset, COVID-19 has put European economies on the back foot, scrambling to reconfigure health services in short time, continue the provision of essential health services, and manage critical supply chains. It has, in no uncertain terms, exposed the fragility of our health systems, highlighted areas of poor coordination, and pushed our precious healthcare workers beyond human limits. The price has been paid in lives lost. While data can be turned into actionable knowledge to save lives, many countries' health systems still struggle with the basics. Despite years of WHO and its partners highlighting the importance of investing in data and digital health to reform health systems, creating new health service delivery models, and empowering populations, the uptake and trust in digital health by populations in the Western Balkans and the broader WHO European region is still hugely uneven. Data-driven approaches are key to the future of pandemic preparedness and response, as well as for effective primary healthcare delivery. They are also essential to move healthcare from a reactive system constantly putting out fires to one that anticipates potential ignition points and prevents them before they take hold. Having access to data is not enough. It also needs to be complemented with a new culture in healthcare that embraces data science and analytics to inform evidence-based decision-making isolated from politics. Many of these issues are well known by technology and innovation communities, but they are still to be internalized through tangible action in the health systems of European economies. In mobilizing such action, I am pleased to be able to share two important announcements with you. Firstly, the WHO Regional Office for Europe, together with representatives from each of the West Balkan economies, has recently drawn up and will launch a roadmap for health in the Western Balkans in December, setting priorities for health in the sub-region for 2021 to 2025. This shows high-level political commitment based on Western Balkan health goals and priorities in action through the lens of the European Programme of Work. These are shared priorities and potential synergistic activities. Secondly, to place the necessary focus on accelerating the digital transformation of health systems and bringing together partners in different sectors. Today, I am proud to launch the first of WHO's strategic regional instruments for digital health, the WHO Western Balkans Digital Health Sub-Regional Network. This initiative introduces a new level of visibility, engagement, standardization and cooperation for digital health adoption in your economies. The principles of equity, gender and human rights underpin this network to ensure that no individual is marginalized or prevented from accessing digital health services. Digital health is a tool to make our societies more equitable and unified, not the opposite. COVID-19 has been a wake-up call, underlining the need to accelerate the adoption of digital technologies in public health and healthcare. The digital transformation of health systems is also a key accelerator in the process of EU integration. There is a momentum now, and we must work across sectors and borders to ensure that this digital transformation delivers on the promise of safe, effective and equitable digital health services for a post-COVID-19 era. I wish you a very fruitful summit. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Kluge. Thank you very much. Now, as I already announced, we will have two keynote speeches. First of them is the observation point from the prestigious International Telecommunication Union on the processes of digital transformation occurring here in the Western Balkans. Ms. Doreen Bogdan-Martin.
Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it's a pleasure to join you virtually this morning for the opening of the Western Balkans Digital Summit. This is a key event for a fast-growing, highly dynamic region, and as a strategic partner, ITU is so very proud to be actively supporting the Western Balkans digital transformation. I congratulate the government of Montenegro, RCC, the European Commission, and many other key partners on organizing such an incredible program this year, and a big thank you for inviting the ITU to host the digital infrastructure track. Through our regional office for Europe, ITU works closely with Western Balkan economies to help advance the region's digitization agenda through actions focused on broadband infrastructure, IPv6, spectrum, digital skills and innovation, cybersecurity, child online protection, gender and youth issues, and of course, digital accessibility. Seeing the enormous progress that the region's economies are achieving is incredibly encouraging. That's why it's my great pleasure to announce that tomorrow we will be launching a new baseline study on connectivity in education. This new study will review the status in 9 non-EU countries with a view to developing a series of targeted country-focused actions. In addition, in partnership with our sister UN agencies, UNEP and UNITAR, we will shortly be launching a new project on e-waste aimed at helping countries put in place effective new e-waste legislation and promote greater e-waste recycling. Ladies and gentlemen, next year marks a watershed for global digital development, with ITU's World Telecommunications Development Conference set to take place in June 2022. Coming at a time when the power and importance of connectivity has never been more evident, this next WTDC has the potential to go down in history as a landmark conference, a conference that succeeds in leveraging the vast, untapped power of digital partnership to deliver on our 2030 Sustainable Development Pledges. I urge you all to join us and to make your voices heard and to actively engage with ITU's Universal Connectivity Agenda. Together, we can deliver on the dream of ubiquitous, affordable, high-speed connectivity for all. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Bogdan-Martin. Thank you. I've defined your country as a world champion in digital transformation. Mr. Sikut?
Thank you, Rada. Always a bit too kind with that. But, well, ladies and gentlemen, especially wherever you're watching from, and very glad to be here. Thank you to the government of Montenegro and Mr. Tamara for having me here. It's a nice sort of connection to the north of Europe, I guess, for the event. It's splendid to be here because, well, obviously the whole summit covers so many important tracks and themes. But I thought to perhaps use this opportunity to kick us off in a direction that at least we have seen in Estonia to be really the footing of it all. And that really comes down to how the government can deliver upon the policies, upon the services, upon the agenda that is so greatly upon us, like all the previous speakers have outlined. And especially in times of pandemic, when we're expected to deliver especially well, obviously. And so what we have seen from Estonian side, and this is really the bottom line of my sort of short opening here, is that for government to deliver, we have to do the hard work. We have to do the hard work of putting the right sort of basics and foundations in, and that doesn't come overnight. But without that, all the rest doesn't stick. And let me elaborate a bit on that. Well, in Estonia, obviously it's easy to talk about in 5 minutes about 20 plus years of journey. So it's even mind-blowing like that. So it's been a journey of, trial and error, figuring it out, learning from others. But what we really have seen is that if a government is the one that delivers, it is a digital government. So there's no escaping from that. So, government that delivers, it has good services. Obviously these days, and we all know this, I'm preaching to the choir, a service has to be digital in its core, digital by default most of the times. A government that delivers has good policies, which are informed by data and informed by evidence and sort of, really iterating them as we go along as the situation changes, right? So again, digital is at the core of doing good policy even. Resilience of governments in a time of crisis. In Estonia, if COVID started, for us, it was no issue to move to remote work and study because all the services have been there anyway for that. So now just basically, you just couldn't go to shop perhaps, so e-commerce took off, but from government point of view, everything was functioning because it had been functioning already before that. So we're more resilient to whatever comes our way if we're digital. And what's even more fundamental, obviously, in the Western Balkans here, there's, for good reasons, the ambition for digital economy and digitally integrated economy. All this is unlocked by digital government because, well, first of all, the services and the infrastructure we build, digital identity, for example, this is the cornerstone for whatever sector, the whole economy to go digital. And even all the way that they can become a growth dividend. So as sectors are digital, well, they can sort of sell their services more widely. That's the point of Estonian e-residency, for example. So e-residency is basically anyone in the world can apply and become virtual Estonian and then sort of use the services from wherever they are in the world. And through that, obviously, the economy grows. So all of that has been enabled by digital transformation. It's a better government. But what does transformation mean? It means changing how we work, okay? Changing how we do things. That's the essence of transformation. And in that's a lot of unsexy stuff. That's daily work, daily political influence and impact, and daily political resilience to put the unsexy stuff in. Things like user centricity for services. So if we want to have good public services, we want to really sort of have them work the best for the user. And that's just not one-time design effort. That's basically constant work, mindset, practice, tools, something that all our officials have to do. If we wanted to have a good policy, we need data. So that means data quality, that means data governance. Again, daily things that we all have to do at our desks or wherever we are these days in the world doing our government work. But it's these sort of processes, the people for that have to be put in. And there's obviously way more. Platforms for that, regulation for that, there's the governance for that. So basically making sure that if all government has to perform now differently, how do we kick the government in that direction? So that's where obviously political institutions come to the game, digital teams like Montenegro Digital, the plan is, come to the game. So these governance blocks have to be put in place, and without them, otherwise the speed doesn't happen. Why I'm talking about this, and obviously the list can go on, is that hard work unlocks the benefits I tried to outline of better policy, of better services, of resilience, whatever comes our way. And I want to emphasize this hard work because often there's a temptation to go for the latest buzz, go for the latest trend. AI is picking up, or 5G is picking up. Yes, we have to do that now. But these things don't come our way, these things don't stick if you don't have the groundwork. Estonia, we've been now pioneering artificial intelligence in our public sector. Why has that been possible? Because again, data quality is there, so data governance has been, through the years put in. All the sort of building blocks are there, so it's been possible to take this next leap, go along with a trend, because foundations are strong. And so this is really, from my point of view, hopefully a rallying call in terms of saying, whatever strategies we do, whatever roadmaps we do, we have to focus on making sure that the building blocks are in place. Yes, the quick wins have to be there as well, so we need to deliver something, for citizens immediately. But I've always thought about it, and I've seen our country and other countries thought about it as a portfolio. Quick wins, but a lot of effort going to really the foundations that then last and can be the basis for whatever sort of comes next as the ambition. And for that, I think down the line, to really finish up from this, I think it's, I see it this way, that it's, if digital government used to be a thing to strive for because it looked useful, and countries like ours or a few others had been doing it, so, and had shown the gain, so it was like an aspiration to drive to. Now it's a necessity. It's a necessity because, well, first of all, as outlined before, no government today is a good one unless it's digital. Our people are more digital. Even if we work on the skills, we have to work on connectivity, but more of them are digital anyways. So we have to deliver for them. And there's competition. Quite frankly, people move, talents move. If you want to have economies grow, they will move to where it's easy to get things done. So from all of these reasons, we have to put the hard work in. And without that, otherwise we miss out not just an opportunity, we miss out even in competition. So to end this, the good news is, obviously, to put all this hard work in, we are never alone, you are never alone. So you have the community here, that's very heartwarming to see. There's so much knowledge and know-how accumulated in the world, and available for you. And obviously, just like with this event, the donors are ready to help and so on. What we have seen from Estonia is that we have learned a lot from others. We still shamelessly copy if something works somewhere, because it makes us go ahead faster. And from that point of view, if anything from Estonia has done as a solution, as experience, as policy know-how is useful for you, just ask. Only happy to share. But to end this, and really as a last word, is to say that our bottom line message and lesson from all things digital in Estonia is that at the end of the day, it's doing that matters. So even if we don't have all the resources yet, even if you don't have all the resources yet, even if you don't have sort of the perfect plan yet, just get going. Because in the end, it's the delivery that matters, and even small things already in the right direction can make a great impact. So just do it. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you very much. Thank you very much. So, ladies and gentlemen, we've heard our speakers and our keynote speakers, and this was the virtual opening, the solemn virtual opening of the 4th Western Balkan Digital Summit. It remains to me to thank my participants here on the stage and those online, and to wish all you a wonderful time during these 3 days of the summit. I also wish you will find the inspiration for your next digital steps, and to quote Minister Srđančić, may the force be with us. But before that, just to remind you that now we will have a short coffee break, and I invite you during this coffee break to browse through our platform and discover its possibilities and features. Among them are the virtual networking possibility, then there are our inspiring casings, our virtual booth, lightning talks, etc. And don't forget all our interesting side events you will find there on the platform. See you in 10 minutes at 10 and 10 with the session 1 of the summit. Thank you.